Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Plays and welcome to a video that I've actually needed to kind of update this. Consider this an update video if you want. You will see that the screen behind me is in fact Ark Survival Evolved. To date, one of my most popular videos on this channel, despite the fact that I play a ton of Minecraft on this channel, is my Ark Survival single player settings video. And that was done back in 2024 on my PS4. Since then, I've got a PC that can run Ark really well, and there are some PC-specific settings that if you want to have the best time, if you are a casual gamer like me, that you probably want to pay attention to. And this starts before we even enter the game. The first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to go to Browse Local Files, and we're going to navigate to Shooter Game, Saved, Config, Windows No Editor, and there are two files in here that you're going to pay attention to. The first one is really important because this is going to play later on when we get to the world settings. These lines right here at the very top, where it says baby imprint amount multiplier equals 70. You want to make sure you set that a really high number. That way you can imprint your dinos with only one imprint. If you're a single player, you're not playing on a server or anything like that, then there is no need to have to spend hours upon hours upon hours imprinting your dinos. One and done, and let's call it good. The other setting that you need to deal with is in the game user settings.ini, which is also in that same folder. We're going to go down to server settings. You're going to scroll down in this file all the way. It's quite a ways down to server settings. And let's see, we're going to change override official difficulty equals 5. And what this does is this makes sure that you get level 150 max level dinos. That's really all you need to do in the game setting files. So let's jump into the game and we'll get to the rest of them. Now, a lot of these settings that we're going to go into the options menu to find are personal preference. So my computer that I built myself is actually capable of running the game pretty much epic all the way. But there are a few things that I consider to be not personal preference, but really will help your overall game experience. And the first one is in camera shake. Make sure you set that to 0 unless you like the Brontosaurus coming and saying hi and shaking you out of your chair while you're playing the game. The other thing that you're probably going to want to do is turn off light bloom. I'm going to go ahead for this and keep light shafts on, but light bloom will keep your overall brightness of the game pretty constant so it doesn't go from super bright to super dark and all that kind of stuff. I also make sure to turn off motion blur and film grain. They're not really necessary for the game, and in fact, I think they take away from the overall look of the game. Another thing that I like to disable is give default survivor items. I don't need them because it's mostly a bunch of junk. You can turn it on or off if you want to, but you're going to be getting a lot of junk items all the time, especially if you get eaten by a dinosaur a few times when you're in the very early stages of the game. From there, we're going to go hit apply. We're going to back out of that, and we're going to go into host local. I am actually about to be starting a brand new playthrough on Ark Survival Evolved, so I'm going to go ahead and delete all that. I got my old playthrough backed up, and I didn't have much going on anyway. So what we're going to do is, this is our difficulty. We max difficulty. We're going to leave most things the same. I'm going to go ahead and take the XP multiplier. I'm going to go ahead and just enter 2. Because I want to advance just a little bit faster in the very beginning of the game. It doesn't really make... Actually, I tell you what. Let's do 1.5. And we'll kind of split the difference. Editor Dad here, breaking in real quick because I realized that I forgot one setting. I forgot to mention something that I do change, and that's this setting right here. And that is the taming speed. Set it to 3. It is another one of those that is kind of a personal preference, but I prefer to keep it at 3 so that you don't spend an hour and a half waiting for your dino to tame. Okay, enjoy the rest of the video. But pretty much everything else except for harvesting amount, I'm going to leave dino harvesting damage to 3.2 and harvest amount to 2. Most other things are 1. I do want, because later in the game when you have a bunch of dinosaurs and they take a little damage, it takes them forever to heal. Go ahead and set dino character health recovery to 2 and thank me later. We're going to allow third-person camera. A lot of these are for when you're playing multiplayer. And, you know, some of these are personal preference. I prefer to leave crosshair on. I don't think it takes away too much of the game, but for me and the way I play, it's helpful. I'm going to go ahead and leave PvE mode on because that also changes the way some things interact with where you spawn and where you can build and where you can't build. I definitely want to show map player location, so make sure you have that checked. And we're going to click maximum difficulty, enable PvP gamma, use single player settings. This one is up to you. I don't feel like I need to prove anything with this game. I need to have fun. I need to enjoy myself. And so I go ahead and choose to use single player settings because it does increase the damage output and it makes it a lot more doable to walk through the game as a single player without a bunch of your buddies coming in with you and beating the bosses, because we'll need a little bit of extra damage when it's time to beat the bosses. We're going to go ahead and disable structure placement collision. That allows us to ease some things into the walls. It allows you to put walls as they clip into the side. It makes building a little bit easier. We definitely want to use the corpse locator as well. Let's see. We want to allow unlimited respecs. That's another big one because it allows you to go ahead and forget all your engrams. And so as many times as you want without gaining a level, because you're going to get to max level before you finish, and you're probably going to want to relearn some things here and there, because some things you're going to need to do early in the game that you don't need to know later in the game. Like, you don't need to learn all of the saddle blueprint engrams because you're gonna get saddle blueprints. So go ahead and put allow unlimited respecs and it's great. I choose to show creative mode because sometimes it is handy to go into creative mode real quickly if you're looking for something. And is it cheating? Is it not cheating? I wouldn't use it for normal gameplay, but it can be handy to get yourself out of a pickle here and there. Okay, advanced settings. Most of these we don't really care about. We're going to allow cave building in PvE. We're going to allow flyer carry PvE. That means that you can pick up dinosaurs with your flying dinosaurs. Good thing to have. All right, let's see. Non-permanent diseases. Yes, we don't want diseases until we die. Let's see. We want to increase PvP respawn interval. Offline raid protection. A lot of this stuff, again, is for multiplayer stuff that we don't really care. World settings. Here we're going to get into the baby imprint settings. We're going to have lay egg interval at 0.25, mating interval at 0.001. We're also going to have our egg hatch speed at 45, so the eggs are going to hatch super fast, which is what we want. And they're also going to mature super fast. So set those both to 45, and what you get is you should have plenty of time to have an imprint on the baby, and it will grow up in about 5 or 6 minutes. Each egg will grow up pretty fast. Now, it will look like it's taking damage, but just let it grow up, let it heal, and you will be fine with these settings. You can lower this down to 6, and it will still take it about an hour or so to grow up. But, you know, if you want to get on with life and get your army raised so you can go take on the dragon and the manicore or whatever, what have you, go ahead and set it to 45 and be done with it. Okay, so the next set of settings that we're going to pay attention to are down here. You can choose to play with the day cycle speed and the daytime speed and the nighttime speed. So what I like to do strictly for content's sake is set daytime speed to 0.5 and nighttime speed to 1.5. What this does is this slows down the daytime speed, and this speeds up the nighttime speed. So I don't have to spend nearly as much time waiting for night to pass because it's just super dark and it doesn't make for great content. For spoiling time, I'm going to set this to 2, And that's somewhere kind of in the middle. Things still spoil, but they don't spoil super fast. Item decomposition time, I'm going to set that to 0. Corpse decomposition time, I'm going to set that to 6. So that means that it's going to take a long time for any time I die for me to get back to my bag, and so I can get my stuff. I'm also going to have the no resource radius for structures to 0.5. This means that things will respawn and the resources will renew themselves a little bit closer to where you build things. We're going to go ahead and adjust crop growth speed to 2. That way they grow just a little bit faster. You know, so if you noticed a trend here with all these settings, what we're doing is we're not giving ourselves an unfair advantage here, but we are making it to where we can log on as we have time, as dads, as moms, as parents, as whatever, as people who have day jobs and don't spend every waking hour playing Ark, make our lives a little bit easier where we can enjoy the game a little bit more. Everything else here is going to be the same as far as the XP multipliers, and I'm not going to touch any of these because if you do, things get really out of hand really fast. But we are going to come down here to our miscellaneous settings, and I am good showing the floating damage text. I like seeing it. You can turn it off if you don't want. This just is like when your dino hits something, you'll see how much they do. I don't mind custom recipes, and I don't mind allow raid dino feeding. This mainly impacts when you get to extinction, and it lets you feed the big bad extinction bosses. Go ahead and check it here and you'll be happy you did. For the raid dino food drain multiplier, we're going to go ahead and set that all the way to the bottom. We don't want them to run out of food, and it's fine. They're gigantic things anyway, and they're probably going to help you a little bit beat the Alpha King Titan, whatever. This is how long it's been since I played. So that's what I did. I'm going off of my old settings. I'm porting a lot of these from my PS4 so that I can enjoy the way I did on PC, the way I played on the PS4. I also am going to change the loot quality just a little bit. I'm going to bump fishing loot and supply crate loot to both to 2 instead of the default is 1. The fuel consumption interval multiplier to 2.226. I think that's default, but I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, this is my settings. And if you want to name an event, or if you want to run a particular event, you would put it in here. I leave it blank and I let it just run with whatever is going on at this point in the game. The last setting that you're going to want to make sure that you deal with, and this no survivor downloads, we're going to check that right there. Because what you will find is there can be a bug in the game that if you beat the boss and you transfer to another map as part of beating that boss, when you ascend to the next map, like when you go from Scorched Earth to Aberration, your player will remain on the map you were on. Then you come in here and you turn this off, you can upload it and do the thing, and you can go and you won't lose your player data. So this is a setting that you'll need to turn on and off as you're moving around maps, because if you beat a boss and you ascend and you lose your character data, nobody wants that. You don't want to start fresh on Scorched Earth or Aberration or Extinction with no levels. That would not be fun at all. So make sure you take control of that aspect of the game by turning this on only when you're ready to move maps. Well, that does it for my brief rundown of the best single-player settings for Ark Survival Evolved in 2026. I hope you have a great time playing Ark Survival Evolved. I don't think the game is dead yet. In fact, as long as you enjoy the game, I think it's still a fun thing to play. So why don't you join me in the next Ark video and let's start a brand new Ark Survival Evolved single player playthrough beginning on the island in 2026. I hope you're having a great day, and if you're not, I hope it only gets better from here. I'm the dad who plays things, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take it easy, everybody.